Imagine you are standing on the surface of another world. The ground beneath your feet is made of ice, but not water ice, nitrogen ice. It shifts and moves, almost like it's breathing. The sky above you is pitch black. Even though technically the sun is up, you can see it, a tiny, cold, distant pinprick of light. So far away it looks like nothing more than a bright star. Not a sun, a star. You are 367 billion miles from home. And the most terrifying part, nobody is coming for you. For decades, we thought we knew what Pluto was. A small, frozen, dead rock at the edge of our solar system. Quiet, still, insignificant. Scientists even stripped it of its title, officially demoting it from planet to dwarf planet. In 2006, as if it were too small, too cold, too irrelevant to even matter, we thought Pluto was boring. We were catastrophically wrong. In 2015, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft arrived at Pluto after 9.5 years of travel across billions of miles of empty space. The images it sent back stopped scientists cold. There was a heart, literally, a massive, smooth, bright region, shaped like a perfect heart, Tombaugh Regio, stretching over 1,000 kilometers across the surface. Mountains of water ice as tall as the Rockies, flowing glaciers on a world that should be completely frozen solid. It was beautiful, but something was deeply, fundamentally wrong. The closer scientists looked, the more Pluto stopped making sense. And what they found next wasn't just surprising, it was unsettling. Let's start with what would happen to you the moment you arrived. Minus 230 degrees Celsius. That is not cold in any way you have ever experienced. That is the kind of cold where nitrogen, the gas that makes up 78% of the air you are breathing, right now, freezes solid and crunches beneath your feet like snow. Your blood would not freeze. It would never get the chance. Your body would shut down so fast that freezing would be a luxury. Every material known to standard engineering becomes brittle and shatters like glass. You would die within seconds, not minutes, seconds. Let that sink in. But here's the problem. The cold is the least frightening thing about Pluto. Pluto has an atmosphere, a thin shell of nitrogen and methane hovering just above the surface. But here is what nobody tells you. That atmosphere is dying. As Pluto drifts farther from the Sun in its 248-year orbit, the temperature drops, and the atmosphere literally freezes and falls to the ground. The entire sky collapses. It snows atmosphere, and when Pluto swings slightly closer, the frozen sky sublimates back into gas. Pluto breathes. Its entire sky rises and falls over centuries, and right now, scientists believe Pluto is entering a long winter. The atmosphere is collapsing. The sky is beginning to fall. This should not be possible for a world this small and this dead, but it gets worse. Here is where things get genuinely strange. Tombaugh Regio, Pluto's heart, should not exist. On a world this cold, with almost no internal heat, there should be zero geological activity. Everything should be frozen, still, untouched for billions of years, covered in ancient craters, dead, but the surface of the heart is young, geologically young, fewer than 10 million years old in some areas. In cosmic terms, that is essentially this morning. Something is actively resurfacing it, erasing the craters, smoothing the terrain, keeping it fresh and new. Scientists are not entirely sure what. Here's what they think. Beneath miles of ice, there may be a liquid ocean, dark, pressurized, alien. A body of water that has never seen sunlight and never will, kept liquid by heat from radioactive decay deep inside Pluto's core. And this is where everything changes. If Pluto, the tiny frozen outcast we literally demoted, has a liquid ocean beneath its surface, then the question of where life might exist in this universe just became terrifyingly more complicated. We didn't demote a planet, we misunderstood a world. Pluto has a moon called Charon, and the relationship between them is unlike anything else in our solar system. Charon is more than half the size of Pluto itself, so large that the two don't simply orbit each other, they orbit a point of empty space between them, a gravitational anchor that exists in nothing. They are tidally locked. Pluto always shows the same face to Charon. Charon always shows the same face to Pluto, frozen in an eternal stare that has lasted billions of years. And Charon has a canyon, a gaping rift stretching 1,600 kilometers across its surface, plunging 9 kilometers deep, 4 times longer than the Grand Canyon, twice as deep. Carved when Charon's interior froze solid, expanded, and split its own crust apart from the inside. Pluto is not alone out there. It has a companion, and that companion is just as broken, just as strange, and just as unexplained. We call it the Kuiper Belt, the vast region beyond Neptune where Pluto drifts. We imagined it as sparse, a few lonely rocks in the cold dark. New Horizons proved us wrong again. The belt is crowded, thousands of objects, maybe millions, worlds we have never seen, drifting at temperatures that would make Pluto feel warm by comparison. Pluto is not at the edge of the solar system. It is in the middle of a region we barely understand, and beyond the Kuiper Belt sits something even stranger, the Oort cloud, a theoretical shell of icy bodies extending nearly a quarter of the way to the nearest star. Some scientists believe there are objects the size of Mars out there, completely invisible to us, drifting in the dark. Here's what this means. We do not know what is at the edge of our own solar system. We do not even know if there is an edge. New Horizons is still flying. Right now more than 5 billion miles from Earth. It is sending back faint signals that take hours to reach us. It will never come back. It will drift for millions of years through a darkness no human will ever see. That probe, smaller than a grand piano, is now the farthest human-made object ever sent into the unknown, and all it did was show us how little we understood. Pluto is not dead. It is breathing. It is moving. It has mountains that shouldn't stand, an ocean that shouldn't exist, a sky that rises and falls like something alive. We looked at it for decades and saw nothing. We were looking with the wrong eyes. Pluto is still out there right now, breathing, changing, keeping its secrets. And we are only just beginning to realize it was never the edge of the solar system. It was the edge of our understanding.